My close friend Taylor Swift has built one of the top 20 net worths of self-made women and has one of the single strongest personal brands as a woman in existence today. First thing that I learned from her, longevity. Do you know how old she was when she made her first song? 16. It was in 2006. Tim McGraw was the first song that she released. These people have actually a very long time under their belts of how many years they've put in to their personal brand.
14 years ago, News 4's Terry Bulger met an aspiring country music singer from Hendersonville High School.
And so a lot of times we're measuring a 2-year career against a 20-year career, and everything compounds with time. She gained more popularity in the last 12 months than she probably did in the first 19 years, which sounds crazy, but at the same time is also true. You got to do the same thing in a lot of quantity for a very long time before it really starts to get going. Don't compare your first year to someone's 10th year. The longer you do something, the better you get at it. Also, the longer you do something, the more you have done. Because if I post once a week for a year versus once a week for 10 years, it's talking about 520 videos versus 52 videos. So I'm going to have all of the compounding of all those other videos that are going to be bringing people to my world that whole time, plus 520 reps of being good at that thing. The second thing that I learned is scaling the unscalable. So she has famously been known for appearing randomly at some of her fans' weddings. To play songs for them, everyone loses their mind, all the iPhones come out, and then she goes viral on the internet for a few days.
A newlywed couple got a surprise wedding crasher that they wouldn't dare to turn away.
I am not a world-class performer, and I'm probably not going to be able to perform at someone's wedding. But how can I take what Taylor did in scaling the unscalable in that micro example and apply it to what I do? Every so often, I'll do a sporadic Q&A live with people in our audience, in Mosey Nation. What do I do for a living? I invest and advise businesses. So what's a micro version of that? I can advise somebody who would never really have access to me in any other capacity. And so I can still take that and then multiply it to thousands of other people because it scales something that otherwise is unscalable. I couldn't talk one-on-one to every single person in my audience. It'd be impossible. She can't show up at every person's wedding. The third thing that I love from Taylor, vulnerability. Even in her songs themselves, she showcases her heart and her looking like the fool or the crazy person more times than not. And so what happens is she becomes still, despite being the superstar that she is, relatable at the lowest level to the girl that's still singing in her hairbrush into the mirror, because they experience the same feelings Taylor does. The many flaws and pitfalls and heartbreaks that she's had over her entire career and just showing them to the public rather than trying to hide them. Taylor then, instead of having something that everyone can attack, flips it into a power, because if you attack her for that, you attack her entire fan base for experiencing the same thing. And so she builds an army of people that will defend her because they resonate with the experience that she shared. Okay, Alex, how are you vulnerable? All the stories I tell, the vast majority of them are me fucking up and losing all my money twice. She talks about relationships and love a lot. And so her equivalent of bankruptcy and losing everything is getting her heart broken. And so for me, I talk about the first time I whiffed on a sale, the first time I trusted a partner and didn't work, the first time I had all my money stolen, the second time I had my money stolen, the multiple businesses that I had to shut down, when I had 9 businesses and had to shut 8 of them down so that I could go all in on one. These are all stories that aren't like the fun cover of Forbes. Instead, they're just like, hey, I also was a small business owner and made a lot of mistakes that you might too. And so for another small business owner who hears that, they might be like, I've been there too. And then it takes something that seems crazy and unattainable, like a multi-$100 million portfolio, and makes it relatable. Thing number 4 from Tay-Tay, I'm just gonna put ownership. So one of the things that Taylor has done differently than many musicians is that she's a shrewd businesswoman. It's also why she's top 20 on Forbes for wealthiest women in general, which she doesn't talk about as much, but girl knows how to make money. Her last Eras tour grossed over $1 billion on one tour. So what she's done is she independently publishes her stuff. And this has been something I think she's worked towards, because in the beginning she sold our music and she had to buy it back, lots of drama. But she has moved towards this action. And because now she has more money and she has more leverage because she has such a big audience, she can negotiate different deals that other people wouldn't be able to. Now it's like, okay, Alex, well, how do I do something like that? Or how did you do something like that? Right off the bat, I could have gone to a regular publisher to publish all my books. Like that would have been pretty much the normal path for the business influencer who wants to get the New York Times bestseller, whatever. And so for me, I give away chapters left and right. I make it free on my podcast. No publisher's like, wait, I want to buy the rights to your book so that you can only give it away for free. But I want to do that. And so in order to maintain control, I maintained ownership over my stuff, because even in the short term, I could have taken a few $1 million check from a publisher just up front to write the book. But I'd so much rather own it for the rest of my life and be able to give it away as I see fit, because I know, at least for me, conditions change. And so the last one that I learned from Taylor was shifting identity. Now, a different way of saying this is that her brand has shifted over time. Yeah, she's gone from a country music player to the girl who chases boys and gets her heart broken, to then just becoming this powerful woman today. And so she's shed her identity multiple times and transformed her brand multiple times into what it is today. And I would say that the Eras Tour, for example, is a great exemplifier of her leaning into this idea that she has set eras in her life. Today, I didn't wear a nose strip. What does that mean? It just means I didn't wear a nose strip today. And that's okay. I don't actually have my hat on today either. Why am I doing that? Does it mean that I'm making some big statement about it? No, I just want to be me. And if I ever feel like I have to dress the part to be on camera, I don't want any part of it. Play it out. If I then become beloved for something that I'm forcing myself into, then what I'm doing is I'm portraying something that's other than myself for people to fall in love with. As I change and grow, I will grow further and further away from the thing that people love, which means that I will have to feel more and more like a fraud. I will have to fake it and pretend more and more as more people fall in love with this idol that I've created that's not even real. And so for me, if I decide to change my shoes one day, I'm gonna change my shoes. I'm not gonna say, well, my whole audience expects me to wear Crocs. I don't wear Crocs, by the way, anymore. I think this is one of the beautiful things that creators have, and that us as individuals have. It's embracing who you are, which I think she's done unbelievably well, and staying true to that North Star rather than what critics want her to be.